Okay. So the pre-meeting discussions about the White Sox game yesterday
What
was
about it?
good, and yeah, we have 9 people here at the.
Oh, Hans is going to join us.
Hey, Hans. Yeah, so we could maybe wait a few more minutes before we officially began, I guess. It's okay with me. Did everyone get a chance to look over the voluminous notes I sent out for this meeting?
I took the quiz.
Okay. I sent out the agenda, and the agenda had the news about what SABR is trying to do with the chapters. And so I thought that would be a good thing to put in the agenda. And then I sent out a little attachment, an addendum, I should say, about the SABR handbook on governance and requirements and things. And it lists the categories, MVP status, if chapters want to try to achieve that, all-star status, which is the second level, and the basic level starting lineup. So according to official SABR's official records from last year, our chapter didn't even make the starting lineup level. We weren't, mainly because we weren't really aware that they were seriously, trying to rank everyone. And so I asked them about it. I asked at the chapter leaders meeting, I think it was last Wednesday, and Scott Bush says, yeah, we didn't send it. We didn't send the survey out. We just sent it out to a few chapters last year. So there were basically, they were, what's the word? They were like bringing it out or something, whatever the word is. But this year they're officially requiring the chapters to step it up, and they're requiring a lot of things by the chapters. And over the last 9 months, they've had 3 quarterly chapter leaders meetings that have been explaining what before were maybe expectations, but are now have evolved, and not just expectations, but really they want to, require the chapters to come on board and upgrade their status and upgrade what they're doing for their members. So anyway, that's a little bit of an intro, but it's kind of sort of self-explanatory what I sent out. But I think it's pretty exciting because our chapter already can check off almost everything on the list that is required by the SABR National Board of all the chapters. For instance, they at the chapter leaders meeting last week, they mentioned that they encourage chapters to draw bylaws. And of course, Halsey Hall, thank you, Stu, and the other previous leaders, we've been having bylaws for ages. And so they sent out Halsey Hall's bylaws to all the other chapters as a model. Hey, this is what you should shoot for. Another thing was having financial records, a checking account, things that we have been doing for years, and we figured just standard stuff. Well, other chapters have not, maybe to a chapter, not all have done some of these things. So they're trying to get everyone to rise to a certain level. We're already, we're close to the top level. I guess that's what I want.
I'm sorry, I have a cold, so it's hard for me to speak, but
yeah.
I as opposed to maybe some people that I saw in an email thread, I think I encourage us to do all this stuff to follow up with it, but this isn't really for us. We're one of the top chapters for involvement in the country. So, I mean, this is meant for a lot of the other chapters that are, just sort of coasting along, I think. But that's not to say I don't encourage us to do this and to try to become a high ranking chapter. But I think that this is really directed at more the chapters that aren't as involved in taking an active role in a lot of this stuff. So.
Yeah, I gotcha. They recognize that a lot of the chapters, including ours, are already doing a lot of these things, but now they're requiring all the chapters, not just the ones that are doing all these things, but the ones that haven't yet, to turn in a survey, answering questions. Do you do these things? And they are requiring all chapters to send in an annual report now. And Stu has sent in annual reports most of the previous several years, but like Hans was saying, that we weren't really required to do it, but now it's on the level of requirements now. They want to make sure that all the chapters are providing for their members. They want to make sure that all the chapters are up to speed on all these things, to making sure that all of the rank and file SABR members of all the chapters are receiving the same benefits, same opportunities, same motivation, whatever you want to call it. So it does, and these chapter leader meetings that had the last 3 quarters, each of them has spoken to that about, hey guys, this is what everyone really needs to do. And for those of you that haven't done it, this is how we can help. And there's sharing of information, sharing of what other chapters have been doing. And so there's been inter-chapter communication between some of the leaders saying, hey, yeah, this is what we do. We have a website. This is what we do. Yeah, we have X number of meetings every year. So it is a fairly new thing that they're pushing out this year. So we're going to definitely, as a chapter, I feel we are responsible for sending in a survey since it's required, and also sending in an official annual report of everything that we did this year, because they're calling it a requirement. And I don't think it's a problem. We just need to do a little bookwork and send it in. And I emailed Jerry, our treasurer, and just to ask him simply if he could send me a download of a statement, a PDF statement of our bank account, checking account, just to say, yeah, our chapter has a bank account. I mean, it's just simple stuff, but they want to see that every chapter is doing this and for their members. So.
Yeah, it looks like it's just a matter of cleaning up a few loose administrative ends, really. I mean, I guess one thing, the question I have is about the SABR Day event. I mean, are they really hard and fast on that? Because, I mean, in our case, Twins Fest kind of covers a similar calendar period for SABR Day.
Yeah, we checked. I believe Stu checked, and maybe I had a little something to do with it, but I'm pretty sure Stu wrote in following not this recent chapter leaders meeting, but one last quarter, because they talked about that very thing. Other chapters had the same question about SABR Day. And so, they understand that our chapter, Halsey Hall, does tons of meetings and activities. And so my feeling is that what we did for SABR Day with Twins Fest and having volunteers for a full day in front of the public and promoting SABR, that does qualify for a SABR Day event, even though it didn't fall exactly on SABR Day. Stu, is that your interpretation?
I think when we write in our participation, we have to be a little creative, and which means add a little BS to it. It doesn't have to be on that date.
Right, that's what I mean.
But,
yeah.
Okay.
They had told me that just having a table at something like that doesn't really qualify. We should get a good definition of what they say is qualifies, and then
Yeah,
write our description of it in some way that it matches that.
right,
You know, the fact the fact that, you know, we used to get together on, no, we used to have you know, midwinter get together.
yeah,
And we don't anymore. And I don't know, I hate just to kind of force it, but let's find out exactly what qualifies as having an event, and then if we have to do a little bullshit, you know, we can. And I don't think it has to be in that date. Yeah, my question is, okay, we need to get in the habit of every year sending in an annual report. And what other things, you know, last year we didn't know what the MVP status was, so we didn't try to match it up. It looks like we're probably pretty close. We're pretty close, and it's just, you know, I mean, I don't want to go way out of our way to do stupid things just to, you know, check all their boxes. But if the boxes that we didn't check are kind of simple to do, then I'd recommend doing them.
So it might be as simple, you together watching a Caribbean League game, you know, over the weekend.
Oh, you know, that's a good idea. If we can find a viewing party or Caribbean League, maybe that's something we got to try to shoot for every year. Tom Flynn has lined up places to go where he knows they're going to show it. And
right.
one thing, I mean, I'd invite you over here to do it, but if it is and this gets into another category of diversity, equity, inclusion. And besides what else we talked about, we have History Day. I mean, one of the things is not just that we're all white and male, but except for Brenda, who's white and female, we're all kind of old, and diversity is also hitting younger people. So our participation with History Day is something we should highlight. But I also put in for diversity, inclusion, disabilities, and we did this in 2004, and I sent Gene the date. It's in our minutes that we passed a resolution that all chapter events have to be accessible. Now, if somebody informally wants to invite people over to watch a ball game at a house, well, if it's going to be a chapter event, the house has to be accessible. My house isn't accessible. Our house isn't. But, you know, if we went to a bar to watch a game together, I think that's a good idea, that if somewhere in there that we have a viewing party for the Caribbean series, and find a place that will show the game, and Tom can help us out with that. That might be a better thing to push than even Twins Fest. But what other things besides not an annual report are we lacking, Gene?
Well, maybe I can just start off by asking, you know, I know the weekend, it takes a lot of time to read over all these things that I send out, you know, so did everyone get a chance to look over what I sent?
I didn't spend a lot of time with it, so I'm unfamiliar. I mean, I've looked at it in the past and saw it, but I didn't get
Well,
through it all.
just briefly what I sent out, and I think the time would be well spent tonight with everyone that's here, is, and Hans brought up a good point about, you know, our chapter doing many of these things, and they're trying to get other chapters to do these things, you know. But we wanted to make sure, like Stu was saying, we wanted to make sure that we let them know we're doing these things. And it's not that hard to do, because guess what? Hey, they sent out a survey this year. This is the first year that they're actually sending out a survey to all the chapters, and they just sent it to me as one of the chapter leaders. I think maybe Stu got one, I'm not sure. But that's another thing. I have to get organized with everyone who's a chapter leader in our chapter. You know, that would help, because they would send it out. Who's ever designated a chapter leader would be invited to these chapter leader events and receive chapter leader info. Okay, so the survey I printed out for myself, and it's it's a few pages, but the survey itself is basically just checking off. But do we have a checking account? Yes. Oh, but we have to send in the PDF along with it. So that's just an example. So we do want to check, I think, be serious about filling it out completely and sending in. The deadline is May 31st. So would you guys mind if I read through it real quickly, or would that be too tedious? I mean, without commenting on it, just kind of zip through it.
Yeah, Gene, I think that might be too tedious.
How about the ones that we did not achieve last year so that we just have to do something different? We have a checking account. We didn't send in the statement. We didn't do an annual report. We might be a little iffy on a SABR Day event.
Yeah.
Are there any other things, maybe just the things that we didn't achieve?
A chapter-wide research project.
Well, let's make sure that we do one.
Didn't we, wait a minute.
Well, this is going back a while, but the spread of baseball in Minnesota or the Hall of Fame banner might qualify, but that goes back maybe more than a year ago.
But I think the spread of baseball is ongoing. Brenda's been continuing to work on that.
Yeah, there are a few people still working on it. We've been really encouraging people to do the bios and the other research. I mean, the game
project.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people in our chapter contributing to that haven't done it before.
Well, the fact that we have a research committee and we may be the only chapter that does that, that is ongoing, working, mentoring people to do that. I think that's something that we can word in such a way to say, yeah, this is an ongoing project of our research committee to work with people, to encourage them to do game stories and to mentor them. Maybe we just need to be creative in the writing, and maybe I can contribute a little BS to that. But I think the spread of baseball is a continuing project. Brenda's been,
true.
I mean, Rich and others have been really big in getting it going, but Brenda's the one that, when we have is it a research project when we had a panel on Bud Fowler?
Well, yeah, and we did the
research display and the books
at the library.
Yes.
Brookdale Library, yes.
Did that extend beyond May 31st? I don't remember.
That was before May 31st of last.
Yeah, it came down May 31st. Rats.
Yeah, fudge it by a day. Just say it extended into the new SABR year.
No, I understand.
That's true, because I didn't take it down till June 2nd.
Okay, there you go. The loophole.
Okay.
That's just like throwing crap against a wall and seeing how much sticks. Throw it all there.
Yeah. I think, we can have fun with it. That's supposed to be a fun thing to do. And I do encourage putting extra things in there. Hopefully because our chapter does way more than most chapters do. So we should let them know that. And I'm sure Scott Bush knows that, but it'd be nice to have these things on paper in our annual report.
Yep, let's get it in there.
Well, that's the last question is, please add additional information you wish to share about your chapter.
Well, we definitely want to get it in there that we had that display, but I'd say, yes, the display extended into the new SABR year and put it in there on a research event, but also having that panel at the library on Bud Fowler. That should qualify.
Sure.
And if we ever do get Corky Gaskell to come up, and because I thought we had talked about that and the pandemic shut it down, to do something on how to make
time
baseball.
It's something we
Thanks for
do that for this year, 2023.
Yeah, so that's something for this year, because when Bob had talked about connection with vintage baseball, and then, well, we need more than just, yeah, we know these people, but if we can make a research project out of it, that would take care of this year.
What's weird too is their SABR calendar travels from June the 1st of a year to May
Mhm.
31st the following year, not a calendar year. So that's what we want to make sure that we do, obviously, correctly. In everything that we've done this year, up to and including May 31st is going to go in there in the annual report. And
Yep.
including our chapter meeting that we just had in the spring with Josh Ruffin and et cetera, the things that we do all the time.
Yeah,
So-
that's our big diversity thing. We had a black person at our meeting.
It's not the
Oh.
only thing. We
No.
also,
Well, what I think,
because like you, yeah.
no, I'm sorry, Brenda, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I mean, just the fact that we had the library up in Brooklyn Center where the demographics are different than they are here. And that
Yes.
the library is frequented by a lot of young people too.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, and then people that are in trouble with the law, but
Well, I think Scott brought that up, that, well, it was more, is it in St. Augustine where they were doing a marker for a Negro League player and they got the African-American business community involved in that, just kind of ways to get it. I think we got enough to hit a few of those categories pretty well, whether it's a little fudging, but
Right.
saying that our display remained into the new SABR year, but we also did have a research event on Bud Fowler that we put together and invited
Yeah, well,
people.
that's going to go into the report, even though it was in May of 2022, because this is sort of after the fact. Hey, let us know what you've done. But May 20, that project, that meeting's going into our annual report.
That was spring of 2022.
Oh, we didn't, okay, I can't remember, it all runs together.
But one thing I noticed at the spring meeting, the spring chapter meeting, was Brenda and Bob did such a great job looking for a good speaker, and Josh Ruffin, being a great speaker, a young guy, he was really relatable to the younger generation. And I know for a fact, we had at least three new members there that were in that age bracket. A couple of them knew Aaron, a couple of them knew John Buckeye, a couple of other younger guys that have gotten involved. And so that was such a great speaker for those people, because when I went up to them during lunch and say, hey, introduced myself and everything, and I sort of asked them about, hey, how'd you like the presentations? And, oh yeah, we really like the analytics and we like the history too, but we're really into analytics. Well, hey, look who was our guest speaker, So, and that's a drawing card for these people to come to our meetings and actually attend, which is the whole goal of our chapter, to recruit and provide enjoyment, for all of our members. So that was something that we're definitely emphasize, not just that Josh Ruffin was our speaker, but explaining the reason why we think that was so valuable.
Yeah, all good.
Mhm.
Any other boxes we have to check to be an MVP?
well, this is
Okay,
just
let me
the
check.
survey I'm looking at. Yeah.
With the survey, the survey matches up, to what they look for in the governance guidelines. So if I flip to the last page, the starting lineup has your basic requirements. You have activities, you have a meeting, you have recruitment, you keep track of members, you have to have at least 10 members. Okay, then it builds from there. All-star level
Yeah.
builds from there. MVP chapter level activities. Chapters shall conduct a minimum of 4 meetings each
Huh.
year. Chapters shall engage in a research or other project of their choosing. Retention and recruitment says chapters shall achieve 85% or greater membership retention, or chapters shall achieve 8% or greater annual membership growth. I think we probably, Stu, they supposedly know our numbers, our official numbers, but Stu and I exchanged some emails this, over the last couple of days, and Stu is on top of the numbers that he will, according to his records, these are members that we have added to our official.
We're okay on that. If the number that they gave us for last May 31st of 146 is correct, we have not only retained 85% of that, we've added growth because we're at 165. But the question is, which ones are we lacking, or were we lacking? Or, I mean, we're fine on membership. Which ones do we think maybe we're going to leave an open box and not get our gold star?
Well, under MVP chapters, and the very last one for relationships, chapters shall conduct programming, whether one-time event or ongoing, with a local organization, which creates member and regional benefit. I'm not quite sure what they're looking for there.
Well, let's throw in the History Day participation.
Well, part of our annual report will be the History Day, which is a collaboration with the community, with an official organization, the History Center, and it provides monetary rewards for doing baseball research. I mean, so that's going to be in our history. I mean, pardon the pun, the History Day, the history report. So that's. I think that box should be checked off for that. And then as far as the one right above that, chapter has engaged in a research or other project. That's something that we can look back.
Use the display that was still up at the library. I mean, let's check that box with that one.
Mhm.
And it remained into June, which is the new fiscal year. So.
Yeah.
Wow, I get rewarded for being late. Cool.
Yes, that's always good.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing too is it kind of makes us think and kind of helps us plan a little bit. And
I hope so.
We're now thinking about what they want to see the chapters do to benefit the members, local community, other organizations. I mean, they're just trying to motivate the chapters to do these things that we're already into. But we can definitely officialize them more, and certainly plan ahead for this coming year, and hopefully achieve what we want to achieve, this year before we.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for going forward, looking at all those things and planning it, but I think for last year, it's a little too late for 15 days, 16 days if we're wide open on something to plan something new. But I think we can I think we can still check all those boxes.
Yes, we can check the boxes and with an explanation.
Yeah, and I think we should. The Spread of Baseball project is still an ongoing thing. I think we should list that and continue to list that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a research project.
Thanks for the reminder, Stu. I need to get working on that again.
Well, I mean, you did most of the work, and Brenda kind of picked it up to, try to get some new
it still
people.
remains sort of undone. So,
well, it's a never finished project probably. So that means it's a project every year that we can list because we're still pursuing it.
Right.
And I don't
right.
know, is book club, is that a research thing or reading a book and discussing it? We do that every other month.
I suppose we
that
could
needs
list
to
it,
be-
they could always disallow it, but
Yeah, well,
it was
again,
worth listing.
Throw all our crap at the wall and
So let's fix
things will
it.
stick.
Well, it's listing.
Yeah,
listing-
I suspect there's not too many chapters that have book clubs, so.
Well, if you do, but listed as a research
that's-
project.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, it's the
Well,
listing. Yeah, we're listing our events. The events that we put on, they will be on the list.
Yeah, but it's also a research project too.
An activity. Yeah.
Well, that's a perpetual, everlasting research project. We continued with our spread of baseball and getting people to take certain areas or whatever, the certain counties. And we can write up a template for that we copy and paste into every year. Like Hans said, we're already doing a lot of good things. These are more for chapters that aren't doing much of anything. Let's just make sure that we present it in a way that we check boxes off, because there's $500 at stake here too.
I have something that I was thinking about at the last chapters meeting. A couple of people were asking about elections, and the way they were asking their questions, they were asking about, hey, how do other chapters hold elections? Oh, we use the SABR Survey Monkey to send out to all of our members. And one person said, well, and I was thinking in the back of my mind, elections at once a year at our spring meeting, but that's 40 people. It's not a chapter-wide election. So I was thinking maybe we should think about doing that, because other chapters, not all, because they're just getting on board with it, but they're thinking about, and one chapter, I forget which one, we send it out to all chapter members on our, in our data thing, even if they don't attend meetings, or even if, we don't know even who they are.
Yeah, there should be a way for members who don't attend a meeting, who they should be able to vote if they want to. So
Well, our elections are always open, and sometimes we have more candidates than, and we don't try to cut it off. Like if we have 4 openings, once we have 4 candidates, we make sure it's open. Still, what it comes down to often, once we get enough candidates to fill open spots, we probably quit soliciting candidates. And generally, a lot of times people will kind of hold back. But let me look at our procedures. If we didn't already, board meetings nominate, we might have it in there that you can vote by proxy.
Yes, yeah, like I was trying to explain, these other chapters were saying, not who run, our whole chapter doesn't vote in our elections, right, presently, right? But maybe we should consider that a way to.
I wouldn't. I mean, that's my thought. I think we can cover this by allowing proxy votes. And I'm just looking at our election of directors, which is in our procedures.
Yeah.
And I don't see that we have we don't have anything in there proxy. I think if we added, and if you want, I'll draft this up to add to the procedures, that any members who are unable to attend the meeting but would like to vote can submit a ballot. I'll look at wording on that. We often don't even have a full slate of candidates until the board meeting.
right.
And sometimes it's finally just nominating people. What Bob did, says, I'm just gonna keep nominating people here until somebody says yes. You know, it's been an open process, but it's also just kind of, hey, do you want to be on the board? Doesn't guarantee it, but often it does. And to accommodate people who don't attend it, I think if we do a Survey Monkey, we'll have, usually it's by acclamation. We'll have fewer people going into that. I think that's a reality of it. So I think we can cover ourselves by just making this maybe to the president, people. And when I do the elections, you know, or do the newsletter, I can mention in there. People could email it. You know, if somebody just emailed to Gene, I can't make the meeting. I want to vote for Rich and John, and you know, I think that'll cover us if anybody were to ever bring up that not everybody attends.
But I wonder, I didn't ask this at the meeting, but I wonder what we're like, are we going to be required to do it?
You know,
are we free to do it as we choose?
Well, have they said we're required?
No.
We've got the best chapter out there for 40 years.
I was afraid to ask.
Well, well, you know, yeah, I'd say don't ask. If they don't tell us.
Don't ask, that's right.
That's kind of like, well, this is how we've done it. If you want to tell us that we have to do it differently, okay, we'll respond to that.
Right.
Otherwise, don't
I
stir
love
up
the
trouble.
idea of the proxy vote, though. I
I'll
just
write
love
up
the idea of
something.
that.
I'll write up something that a current board member, this wouldn't be like Rich, who's not on the board now, but will be next year, that somebody at the June 11th meeting could bring up. And then I will make sure that I put in the newsletter, here are our candidates to date, which often aren't even enough to fill it. And, but if you are members who are unable to attend the business meeting are invited to vote by proxy in advance of the meeting by sending an email to the president and saying, yeah, these people I'll vote for. I'll come up with something that the board can tinker around with or approve.
Even nominate someone.
Well, anybody can always, well, first of all, I can tell you something. Screw nominations. We had a big problem in the big SABR election. I was nominating committee chair and we fucked things up good. And part of it is that, I'm going to tell them, I don't know if I'll be the chair next year, but it's going to be my recommendation. Screw nominations. Somebody wants to run for the board. That person just says, I want to run for the board. I was getting things from people. I nominate so-and-so. And well, okay, now I got to go to so-and-so and find out, do you accept the nomination? Obviously, when we do this at the board meeting and somebody's there, like Bob said, I'm just going to keep nominating until somebody says yes. And Rich said yes right away. So that took care of that. But, you know, I went and I asked John Buckeye, do you want to run? I think you'd be great. He said, yes. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, but that's a nomination. But let's just, if you are interested in running for the board, actually, we have it in here. We're supposed to have a nominating committee appointed by the president, which hasn't happened in a while. Just make it, if you're interested in running, contact the president. And, you know, if I contact John Buckeye and he says, yeah, I'll do it, then I let Gene know. And we get it in the newsletter and we invite them to make a candidate statement. Let's not make this more complicated.
And it needs to be, yeah.
No, it's been working for 40 damn years. Well, let's do what makes sense. And if they want to tell us that we're doing it wrong, then we can respond to that. And let's not ask them, are we doing it right? We're doing it better than anybody else. And if they don't like it, screw them. We'll have something for voting by proxy. So that will take care of anybody who's not there. But I think it's the way the newsletter has been promoting it is if you are interested in running, contact the president. It's really supposed to be a nominating committee. And that's what I'm going to tell them for the SABR convention too. Just don't feel like you need to have somebody else nominate you. Just say, I want to run for the damn board. That's plenty good.
And just like when Daniel Dorff, he was, I just, called him one day and I asked him, how about, are you interested in running again? And he said, yeah. So I mean, that personal touch helps.
Well, the personal touch helps, But as far as how are we doing it and what are we putting on our procedures, if somebody wants to run, say, I want to run. Or agree when somebody calls you and asks you, or
Yeah.
when somebody nominates you from the floor at the meeting, say yes or no. We don't need it. Look, what we have, people, please go to the procedures, read the stuff in the business meeting and everything else. Because we have procedures on this.
Yeah.
Let's not make it, and let's not ask SABR for permission. We're better than any other chapter out there. They should be
That wasn't
asking
my
us.
idea. That wasn't my idea.
Let's just get something, let's get something which the board of directors, if it's willing, can do this at the next meeting on voting by people who aren't going to be at the meeting. We'll cover that. We'll have everything covered.
Do we know how many people during the meeting are viewing via Facebook Live? Those
No, but
people
they
should be
could,
able to vote.
yeah, they could vote too. Maybe we just need to make sure that we ask anybody out there on
And then chat.
watching
in
this
their
on
chat.
Facebook.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
on the handful of occasions when we do have to take a ballot because we've got more candidates and, you know, the person on there could just say to somebody quietly, you know, okay, who are you voting for? We can cover it. I'll come up with something if that's okay, and the board can tinker with it. But the board might be able to pass something for the people who aren't physically in that room.
Sounds good.
No, I just meant to bring up the fact that I didn't say anything. Because
Well,
other chapter members, chapter.
Hmm.
This was an interesting topic to say.
well, yeah, well, we're already doing it right. We've been doing it right for nearly 40 years, so. And this is an opportunity to look and say, oops, maybe we better get a proxy thing in there just to cover it.
Yeah, at the most, that's all we have to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds thrilling. All right. Well, you guys asked me which items we may be short on. I would just say we just need to explain a little more what our goal was for SABR Day, and we need to explain about our ongoing research, chapter research project.
I'll say that we
And then-
participated in the Twins Winter Meltdown the evening of it. After a full day of engaging with people about SABR and having
Yeah.
trivia questions. If you'll trust me with BS, Gene, and who better could you trust with BS? I'll write you something on what we did.
Oh, I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I'll send you something.
But
You're
also,
doing a great job of compiling this and working with others. And it's just where this is a little BS needed, we can help out with that.
yeah, well, my goal was to bring it to everyone's attention because I knew I was the only one at the last chapter leaders meeting from this chapter. I think, you know.
Yeah, well, we should have others, Bob.
And I feel better about.
Well, Bob kind of fussed about some of the things, but it would have been better maybe if he attended too. You were the only one. I'm glad you did. I couldn't make it.
Yeah, so I'm happy that everyone is attending tonight and is providing input. Stu, does anyone besides Stu have input about or questions about what we're talking about, or you know, just needing clarity on something? So I want to have an opportunity to ask, because this is something that's pretty new. I mean, this is new, literally this past fall and this spring. This is, you know, a lot of new emphasis.
We're losing Gene.
I'm just, you know, scanning the survey a little bit and I'm reviewing it again. I've already read it a few times, but still. one thing I have to do is, and I have a star next to it, is the chapter has provided the SABR office with names of officers and or directors appointed and elected, and the SABR office has been promptly notified of all changes. So that's something that I'll go on sabr.org and do for our chapter. And I'll enter in there the, updated positions of everyone and commit if they, I think there's room to put committee chairmen and whatnot. So, but I'm pretty sure that's not up to date because we just had elections. Well, we have elections every year, but so I'm pretty sure that's not totally up to date.
Yeah, if
But
you
even-
can you do that online?
Yeah,
And also it might not hurt just to send Jake and Pomerenke an email and say, we just had our elections for 2023, 24. This is who the president will be and all that.
yeah.
But if you can make the change on there too, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So anyway, that sounds good. Good suggestion. So anybody else have any input on what's happening here? What's happening? Exciting happenings. And feel free to let me know because the if you guys want, I can just let you all know when we're about ready to send it out. It's not due till the end of May, but I thought we could send it out a few days before the deadline, just to not aggravate them and get it in, a couple days early. I can let everyone know if I have any questions or if somebody wants to add something in there, or they can email me or Stu, just feel free to do that, please. All communication lines are open. So, okay. So if everybody's happy with that part of the agenda, we can continue. I did want to say, write down in our minutes, the agenda, that thanks to John Bonus for giving the 2023 outlook Zoom event for the 5 American League Central City chapters on April 2nd.
That's
And
a
so-
research project we should list that we participated in this. I mean, as a research project.
Yeah. So that's just anything we did as a chapter, we're going to list it. It'll go into the report.
Right.
Yeah.
Should be.
Anyway, it drew about 56 people, which I thought was pretty cool. Maybe a little bit over 10 per city, and it went well. They at the end of the event, they said, "Hey, maybe we can do this again, toward the end of the year or something." So they might come up with doing it again, and they'll send out word, or maybe like a post-season preview or a pennant race preview or something. I don't know. Don't see what happens with that. Okay, spring chapter meeting wrap up real quickly. Anybody have any comments or suggestions? I just jotted down a couple of things. I thought the scheduling, and remember, the research committee was on a mission to enact some protocol to clean up some of the timing of the chapter meeting from the fall. Things some of us thought that we needed to clean that up a little bit. So the time cards, Howard did well. Of course, we worked on getting a nice guest speaker and Howard's tribute quiz. One of the things.
Oh, yes, bravo.
What's that?
I said,
Hey,
bravo.
That's a research project too.
Successful too.
Howard does most of the research, but yeah.
Well, no, that's
Well, hey, it's a
a chapter event.
chapter
and-
event.
No, but
Oh, it's
No, but
huge
Darryl-
chapter event.
No, but it was collaborative because Daryl Sanis sent to me an online link to it, a Jeopardy. You know, anyway, he sent to me, so it was Daryl, me, Howard, the three of us, collaborative effort. We decided to see if we could improve that, because funny though it was, with Howard's cards falling on the ground and Howard bending over. And some, anyway, not to belabor the point, but we wanted to get on time. So, and I thought it worked out pretty well. The door prizes, it worked out. Maybe suggested, hey, let's hold the big. That was a good idea, and I'm thinking we can maybe, improve on that a little bit for next time. And then, of course, we had the election, so that was my items. Any comments on this spring meeting? Anything we need to improve on?
Well, I'm happy. It sounds like Bob is going to be involved in this too, and Bob did a great job of following up and making sure that our featured speaker is there. And I think, just kind of came down to the wire like it often does on who the speaker is going to be. And Brenda came through with that in contacting them, but Howard just kind of tends to say, hey, I have this person in mind, and then I send an email, but then we wait for a long time. I think hopefully we'll have somebody lined up a little earlier next year, and I think with Bob getting involved and working with Howard on that, I think that's going to be a big bonus.
You're muted.
Can't hear you, Bob. Can't hear Bob. Can anyone hear Bob besides me? Besides,
I can't.
Bob has his mic muted.
Yeah, he's muted.
Bob, can you hear us? Blink your eyes 3 times if you're being held against your will.
Hold up a sign, yes.
Bob,
Help.
you still there? Where's Howard?
Yeah,
Hold the sign.
Oh, okay, there he is.
Okay,
Okay, yeah, no, I'd still like to get Amanda for the fall meeting here. And after our meeting last month, I mentioned to Josh to put in a good word for us to her, though. I think we'll try to stay in contact to see if she's available in November. Hopefully she doesn't write down to the Dominican Republic, so I know spends time there as well too. So
so you're in the process of
still
following
like
up.
we're getting her there for the next meeting.
Well, we have a date,
Well,
November 11th too, so we have a date we can give her.
I can talk to her in the office.
Okay,
Okay, great,
'Cause I see her like once a week at least.
Oh,
great,
oh, okay. Terrific.
awesome.
person to person relationship. We need that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, now that she has my email and it does go into her junk file though, as it did the first
Spam
time
box.
though. I think that's what
So it would be fair to ask Bob and Hans to kind of follow.
Yeah, keep Howard in the loop.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, once we get closer, I'll reach out to her again, give her the date and, say, hey, if you keep that in mind, we'd appreciate it.
If she likes Hans, you can mention Hans's name too.
Yeah, find out if she likes him first.
Works well. Does he work well with others though?
All right, let's see. We can move on down to, I thought we could do one of two things next, either trivia next or research roundtable next. I'm open to either one. If you guys want to do, you guys tackle the trivia quiz this time?
I may.
We may want to look at that.
Anyone may want to take the first question? The 2023 Oakland A's payroll is 56.9 million. This pitcher, a starter turned reliever for the Twins from 2014 to 2020, is their highest paid player at 7 million. Who is it?
Overpaid.
May.
Trevor
we need
May.
the first name. We need the first names for all these answers.
That'll be Trevor.
Hey, okay, correct. Number two, this all-star outfielder's best year was 1973 when he socked 25 homers and batted .303. He was later traded to Atlanta in November 1974 for Henry Aaron. Who is he? Anybody get it without looking it up?
Yeah, I did.
I did because I'm a Milwaukee kid. It was Dave May.
Yeah.
I only know that because I grew up in Milwaukee, so I was a Hank Aaron, so I knew when Hank Aaron got traded.
Month of May, everybody's named May.
Yeah.
Must
That's
must
the
be
key.
the
Oh,
theme.
yeah.
Must be the theme. Huh?
That's great.
Everybody that I could guess was
Hey,
named
right.
May, but
It may be true. Number three, this first round pick by the Cubs played from 1990 to 99 for 6 teams. He was first in fielding percentage, .994 for left fielders, 2 years after leading the league in errors with 5. He is the son of the outfielder in question 2. Who is he? Cubs fans out there might know this.
He had 2 home runs in the SABR game that we went to at, what is a different me? The one that we went to in Miami in 2000. I think he had 2 home runs in that game.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
I
lost.
was, yeah.
Derek,
Good work. I didn't
No.
get that one.
not Daryl, but Derek.
Derek May.
Yep.
Okay, 4. Originally a California Angel, this lefty won an ERA title for an AL East team during his 3rd stint with that team, which won the division that year but lost in the ALCS. He finished with 152 career wins. Who is he?
Rudy May.
That'll be it.
I think I heard
Yep.
Rudy out there in the
Yep.
audience. Excellent. Okay, Rudy May. 1980 was his ERA title year, but they lost to the Royals. To George Steinbrenner's bitter disappointment. Okay, this Dodger righty, nicknamed Big Red, came up in 2019, posted a playoff win in 2020 as a reliever, and is now in the starting rotation. Who is he?
He will pitch against the Twins tomorrow night. I said Carrot Top because I couldn't remember his first name. Did that count?
Carrot
Close
Top May,
enough.
there you go. Well,
W-
Red May is obviously got to be Red May, right?
Yeah, Red May.
It says right in the dance.
I did have to look it up that it's
Big Red May.
Dustin. I couldn't remember his, I could see the guy. He's pitching against the Twins tomorrow. Dustin.
Yeah, all I got was Big Red May, so.
That's close enough.
You get half credit. Okay.
You know, this is a great quiz, but it's still not as much fun as watching Howard have to bend over and pick up the cards from the floor.
That was Plumber May.
Oh, oh, trivia without the butt crack.
Okay. It is, I think I'm getting, uh, I'm getting a note that Doug Skipper was in the waiting room of the Zoom meeting, but, hey, I think trying to connect him. I just noticed that. I apologize for not noticing that.
No, he was here earlier and
Yeah.
maybe he logged off.
So anyway, we'll see if he is still there. Okay. Okay, sorry. Number 6, this slugger was traded to the Astros in a multiplayer deal for Joe Morgan. He later went to the AL and overall launched 354 career homers with a 27.3 WAR. Who is he?
Well, as a
famous-
Reds
Lee
fan,
May.
I'd be in
Lee
trouble.
May.
No, it was
If
Lee
you don't know
May.
Lee May, that's right.
Which Lee May?
The second.
The one without the E at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
was the first batter that
Yep.
Bert Blyleven faced and gave up a home run to? Lee May with the E
Yeah,
at
with the
the
E.
end.
the
Hmm.
E.
Trivia. So is anyone 6 for 6 yet? Calling out there to the audience?
As long as Carrot Top qualified, I am.
Okay.
I'm
This
5
first
if I can
round-
count Big Red.
Yeah, I mean, Dave's got it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This first round pick by the White Sox, you should know this, Bob, who led the league in assists, errors, and fielding percentage in various years, playing left field and first base. In 1972, he hit .308 and was an all-star. He is the little brother of the player in question, number 6. Who is he and what month was he born?
And what date?
Carlos May,
Carlos.
born in
Carlos May.
Because he
Wasn't
wore
he-
his
Didn't he gain fame for wearing his birthday on
What's the
his
question?
back?
That's
Yes.
correct, May
May
17th.
17th.
He wore his
Coming
birthday
up.
on his back.
And he was missing a thumb.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He
Mhm.
blew it off at the mortar
Yeah,
accident
blowing
in his
off,
reserve.
the National
Unit, yeah.
Guard.
National
So,
Guard
yeah,
or something.
he came back and
Mm.
continued to hit
Yeah.
well without a thumb.
Now, if he played in the 1920s, he would have been known as Carlos One Thumb May then.
Yeah,
When in the age of good nicknames.
His nickname was Sweet Roll May, actually. His official nickname.
Would have
Eight.
been
Okay, so-
good on the same team as thing around.
Wait,
what
what?
was that?
Would have
Yeah.
been good on the same team with Finger Brown.
Three Finger Brown, one one
One
thumb.
thumb.
Three finger Brown and One Thumb May, yeah.
Well, he was on my all missing a body part team.
Oh,
Maybe I'll have to throw
And
back in there.
Pete Gray in there too.
Pete Gray
Oh,
had to be in
yeah.
there.
Yeah. You know
That's what
what?
I'm,
I'll throw this in there on the, I'll throw on my all missing a body part team in the
For-
next issue of the newsletter, just for the shame of it
For-
all.
for the next meeting, I'm donating a autographed Pete Gray photo, as a matter of fact.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah.
Which hand did he sign it with?
Yeah, the only one.
Or the other one, yeah.
Hugh One Arm Daily. A lot of guys are missing testicles, by the way.
Including, was it Tex Ritter or John Ritter? One of the two of those.
See, well, how about Lance Armstrong? If we're
okay, fans. Number 8. He backed up catcher Manny Sanguian for the 1970 Pirates and then was traded to the Royals along with Freddie Patek for pitcher Bob Johnson. Who is he?
Jerry May.
very
Yeah.
good.
Very good.
This is true. Jerry
Very
May,
good.
very good. Did you have to look it up? Or did you know that from Pittsburgh Pirate lore?
It's that one.
You know, or did you know it because of in 7 straight questions for the same last name? Number
That
9.
helps.
We're running out of maze here. Could be Willie
Wow.
Mays, is gonna be one of them.
For a while, I thought that the key to this thing was whoever backed up Manny Sanguian, because they
Yeah.
had questions about Manny Sanguian's backups.
Well, if you started with question number, a faux pas. Sometimes you have to start with number one. Okay, he backed up Manny Sanguian for the 1971 World Series champion Pirates. You shouldn't have to look up his last name, and his name is
Son of Pinky May.
incorrect.
No, that is correct.
His nickname was Pinky.
His dad's was.
His official name or his nickname?
Well, his dad's nickname was Pinky May.
I didn't realize he had a real name.
No, well, now you're gonna have me looking it up.
And, number 10, first name of the actress who said, "Between two evils, I always pick the one I never tried before."
Mae West.
Yeah, Mae West.
And you know, in skydiving,
Okay,
when
May.
you have a line over where you have to ditch your main parachute, officially it's called a line over, but unofficially it's called a Mae West, because
Yeah.
you look up and you think that that's Mae West's bra above you.
Oh, okay. I'm getting the visual.
Yeah, good. That's why they have a lot of tacky things in skydiving.
Oh,
They have strange expressions. As the guy was tightening my leg strap, he said to me, "You got the furniture put away?" I think I understood what he was talking about. Merrill May is Milt May's dad. He was known as Pinky May. He was a third baseman for the Phillies during the war. Good quiz. I didn't
Yep.
get number one until I got like 2 and 3, and then that, okay, well, I think I'm catching on here.
Trying to get John Buckeye in the. See, I thought Dave Landy was going to help out by administering this video, so I think I might have missed out recognizing Doug Skipper. And now, hey, John Buckeye, I got you in.
Hey, Gene, thanks.
Do we still have our own Zoom account, or did we decide to use the SABR one and drop our Zoom account? Because one of the things, if we do our own Zoom account, we can do it without there being a waiting room, and then we don't miss seeing people.
I think that was an unforeseen complication.
Yeah, I had to re-register and I forgot my password and took me a while to get in and do updates and.
John, did you have to wait a long time to get in?
I was waiting maybe 3 or 4 minutes. It wasn't too bad. I did blast out an email to the whole research committee saying, "Hey, I'm trying to get in," just in case no one was paying attention to that. But yeah, no, it's all
Oh,
good.
there's the email. Okay.
Would anyone like to
Yeah,
read
I
that?
didn't see the email till now either.
I guess we'll just do it ourselves. What do you think?
What
Like
have
we
I
do
missed? I know it started at 7. Sorry, the thing I went to first.
Would anyone like to quickly recap the meeting for John since he just tuned in?
As long as you know who
John, we
Pinky
had
May
a-
is, you're okay.
What's that?
Pinky May. Yeah, I
As long as you
figured
know who
out
Pinky
the-
May is, you're okay.
I wish I did. I know who Dustin May is, and I figured that was kind of the theme. Oh, Trevor May. Trevor May was one of the answers too, right? Did we get all those?
Yeah.
The first one.
Okay, cool.
Dave May, Derek May, Rudy May, Justin May, Lee May, Carlos May, Jerry May, Milt May, and just plain May, M-A-E. That was the last one. Okay. Research roundtable around the horn, so we can take turns, just take turns volunteering a little bit what we're up to, since this is a research-based event. Would anyone like to start out? Maybe Brent?
A couple good book recommendations that I've got that showed up in my Kindle. One, Wendell Smith selected writings on sports, civil rights, and Black history. And the other one is Marty Appel's new book called Pinstripes by the Tail, which is his recollections as the PR guy for his long career with the New York Yankees, which has some pretty cool stories in it.
Good. Ed, do you have things that you're working on and you'd like to share with us? Anything on your?
Yeah, I'm for the Business of Baseball Committee, Outside the Lines newsletter. I'm writing up a part 2 that goes with the talk that I gave on the Earl Toolson and Kurt Flood case. And also I'm involved in a project on the 11 members of the Baseball Hall of Fame who have law degrees. And I was fortunate that I ended up with this book is completely about their legal careers, nothing about their baseball careers. And so I have probably the guy with the least amount of time using his law degree, which is Larry McPhail, who basically practiced for about 2 years. So, and that might make for an interesting presentation at some point.
So there were 11 major leaguers.
There's 11. Yeah, the name of the title of the book, or the working title of the book, is 11 Men In. And so it's the 11 guys in the Baseball Hall of Fame, including the guy that I would vote out first if I got to vote guys off the island. But and that's Bowie Kuhn. But
Heck yeah.
Yay.
Charlie
Charlie
Finley called him, he was the village idiot, wasn't he?
Well,
According to Charles Finley.
Finley changed it from the village idiot to the global idiot.
Oh.
So he kind of increased the scope of his earlier statement.
I'm not sure Bowie Kuhn's credentials for the Hall of Fame, so I'm with you on that.
Yeah, anything that baseball did to help the game prosper during that era was certainly despite the efforts of Bowie Kuhn.
Right.
Fair.
The Hall of Fame put together the committee that year with Monty Irvin, who was his aide, and Harmon Killebrew, who was an establishment guy, and they pretty much stacked the committee to put Bowie in.
They do that when they want to, it seems like.
Yes.
Like, didn't they kind of do that with his name? Harold Baines.
Harold Baines.
Yes.
Yeah, there might have been a few.
Harold Baines is absolutely the most suspect Hall of Fame member. Like, how is that guy in the Hall?
I did like the guy.
He was so shocked.
Sure.
He was so
fine.
Shocked he was elected. I appreciated his honesty when he was elected too. He was going, "What?"
And Jack Morris. It's less suspect, honestly. I'm getting less opposed to Jack Morris, but it's a crime that Dave Steve isn't in the Hall of Fame and Jack Morris is.
So speaking on that, John Buckeye, what have you been up to in research or contemplating research
Yeah, the whole months ago I was talking about like the correlation between WAR and MVP
Yeah.
votes, and that was kind of my pet project. It's kind of stagnated a little bit lately. I've looked and been interested in like what like trying to measure what managers provide to teams, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. Like an option is, just Pythag. Like what are, like Twins, just starting with Twins managers, what is the overall Pythag of managers for a team? But I acknowledge that leaves just a lot of factors out. The other, what do they call it with Guardy? The other 20 hours sort of manager that might make players better, even if he doesn't necessarily make better in-game decisions. So I'm just trying to kind of get some input from different sources where to go to like see what impact managers do have on the talent of their team, on the like outcome, their in-game decisions, and things like that.
Like the difference they might make or might not make.
Yeah, and I'm obviously it's a hard thing to study, but there's definitely got to be ways to parse like the data and say, well, for example, like how much better have the players he has been playing for him than they played over the course of their career to that point. And I think Guardy did do a good job of that, but he probably wasn't even as good of a decision maker as I think Rocco probably is, even if I don't know, people might think Rocco doesn't necessarily get the most out of his players. So
How about
knows?
just
What
being
directions to go.
a manager as an effective hitting coach? Because I'm thinking of Ted Williams, who was manager of the
Oh.
year in 1969 when he,
No kidding.
the Senators made a good jump, and he had Ed Brinkman hitting 272, only for Bob Short to then trade him, but because Short was an idiot. But whether Williams was a good manager, he was a guy who could teach hitting.
Yeah.
And that might have been the most important role for the Senators, is to have Williams there as a hitting coach.
That'd be really interesting. How long was he their manager?
I think 4 years. Did he 69, 70, 71, and I think their first season in Texas.
Okay. Wow. He went with them to Texas. No kidding.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think he did. Charlie Walters, who was traded to Washington, never pitched in the regular season, but in spring training said there was a discussion between Nellie Fox and another coach about how to turn the double play. And then it was, hey, let's ask Skip. Hey, Ted, he says we should turn the double play this way. He says we should turn the double play this way. What do you think? Williams thought about it for a second and said, fuck it, let's hit. So why they would ask him Ted Williams a fielding question anyways, I don't know.
Yeah, he just had to do the least amount of damage, and he was a player. Stay out of the way.
Well, according to Baseball Reference, Stu nailed it as far as Ted Williams' managerial career. Year one was 69 Senators, 1970 Senators, 1971 Senators, and then they became the 1972 Texas Rangers. His record, however, each year decreased in wins, 86 wins versus 76 losses the first year. Then it was 70 and 92. Then it was 63 and 96. Then it was 54 and 100. Sounds like he was losing interest.
That could be.
Yeah.
Well, when
Yeah.
Short traded away good players to get Denny McLean and then signed Kurt Flood, who had nothing left in the tank and quit
Yeah,
after a couple of weeks, I could see him being a little disillusioned of,
yeah.
Well,
you know,
here's,
so, but I mean, Short screwed up the team too. That's why they won fewer games.
yeah, here's one good point
Ah.
to
Yeah.
Williams' potential as a hitting instructor. In the 15 years that Ed Brinkman played Major League Baseball in 1969 and 1970, those were his two highest batting average seasons ever, 266 and 262. And then they traded him because his trade value was up. They traded him to the Tigers.
No, because Short was an idiot and he saw a chance to get Denny McLean, and he gave up also Aurelio Rodriguez and Joe Coleman
Yeah,
and Brinkman and somebody else, Jim Hannon.
Jim Hannon,
Yeah.
Notre Dame guy.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I mean, Short was an idiot. He gave up a player that Williams had helped improved, and a guy who would have been a Gold Glove third baseman if Brooks Robinson hadn't been there, and Joe Coleman, who was a good pitcher, to get
Not
Denny
to
McLean,
mention
who was
he
done.
ruined David Clyde's career. Not to
That-
mention he
that
ruined
too.
David Clyde's career too, but
Well,
right after he was out of high school.
well, if we get political, you know, he was a DFLer, a Democrat in Minnesota, not embraced by the DFL, and he defeated Don Fraser for the Senate primary in '78, which then led to Dave Durenberger getting the Senate seat. I went to a rally at the auditorium with Jimmy Carter and Walter Mondale and the congressional and Senate candidates. And it was quite a scene because Short got the heck booed out of him by the audience.
I'm sure did. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, of course, he moved the Lakers, he ruined the Senators and moved them. He was just, I'd say, a pretty terrible person.
I'd rate him as the worst MLB owner in lifetime, certainly.
Yeah.
okay, okay. Hey, David Karpinski, what are you up to, research-wise? Besides
My
your
research is
your
driven by
blog?
what goes on every day to fill my blog, so.
That's an
Mostly,
ongoing
what
thing.
I've been trying to do now is
Yeah.
update everything I have to put the Negro Leagues back in.
Good.
That's good.
That's a
I
worthwhile
get, by
thing.
the way, I get some very nasty emails. When
Oh, really?
when I do a blog post and I talk about the last 400 hitter, which is no longer Ted Williams,
Right.
then I get a bunch of emails from people that saying I shouldn't even count the Negro Leagues because they were no better than AA.
At least people are reading it.
Yeah, that's
Getting
true.
hate mail.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
God.
Who are these people that just have no time on their hands but to like disparage friggin' literally it's been declared major leagues. They have been
Yes. I tell them that. That's how I answer. I just say Major League Baseball has declared these major league seasons, you know. So these are the records.
Deservedly so, I mean.
I love
Well-
watching old white people lose their shit.
well, you got a front row seat to that most games,
Yeah.
probably still. That's great.
Good. Hey, Glenn Rennick, what you up to over there? Baseball
Oh,
research wise.
I am still working I'm still working my way up to blogging, but my latest venture is to try and encourage members of the Facebook SABR baseball card page or group to actually talk about baseball cards and not just the players who are pictured on them. So on Friday, I started a venture called They Gave Us Cards, where I talk about the people who actually created the cards rather than the subjects of the cards. So I started off with the 1930 Blue Ribbon Malt set, which is very fascinating and not related to any product that anybody would think. And then yesterday I did the AC Deach cards, which Gene, you helped me with a little bit. And now I'm off into trying to differentiate between the cards that the name is escaping me, but the junk cards of the 1970s and 80s versus a lot of the obscure sets in the 19 teens, 20s, and 30s. So that'll be my post for tomorrow. And then I don't know where I'm going from there, but it'll always relate to people who gave us baseball cards rather than who's on the baseball cards.
So when was the first day that you, because I do receive the feed for that site, you know, I can't, yeah, but for that Facebook site. So, but I haven't maybe read it the last couple of days. So when was your first post on that site?
The first one was Friday, May 12th. And then I did one the 13th and one yesterday. I haven't gotten one done today. I probably won't, but I'll pick up again tomorrow. I think one thing I've discovered is I haven't got much reaction on them, and I think it's because they're too long. So I have to figure out how to condense them a little bit. Not scare people off with 8 paragraphs.
What's this? What is this site again?
This is the
It's
SABR,
on Facebook. It's called
SABR
SABR Baseball Card.
It's the SABR Baseball Cards Facebook page, right? Baseball Cards.
Yes.
SABR National Organization has a baseball card committee.
Because I want to go take a look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. I definitely
Yeah,
want to check it out.
SABRBaseballCards.blog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the blog. It's the Facebook page.
Oh, the Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm working my way up to the blog. Haven't gotten there yet.
Gets addictive once you get there.
Jason Schwartz is obviously one. Jason Schwartz, and he wants to have a baseball card type event held at Chicago. You know, he was going to put something together, but it didn't quite pan out. But he wants to provide a meeting so that people can even, as a group, just talk baseball cards, maybe even bring some baseball cards to the conference, and so that might happen. So I'll let you know if that happens. But he's really obviously on a daily basis really active with that Facebook page. So anyway, sounds
Yeah, I'm
good.
probably not on his most favored list because I'm feeling somewhat critical of the content that's on the Facebook page right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just scrolling. I don't see anything from today, but anyway, I'll check it out. Good. Well, I will post a favorable comment on your content on the Facebook page. So that
Well, I appreciate that.
got to support our fellow Halsey Hallers. Right? I agree that you got to have a little different.
Yeah.
Content. You can't just talk about the player who made the All-Star team in 1975. I mean, it'd be nice to have that, but the baseball card construction, the invention of it, that's interesting too. So good, keep it up. Don't get daunted by that. I can see
No,
you already.
I'm gonna stick with it. I've watched some people join the group and then make comments that they're leaving the group because it wasn't what they thought it was.
Oh. Okay. Well, all opinions are welcome in our chapter, so keep it up. Well, I was privileged to have Glenn show to me this fabulous baseball card storage case. It's archival quality, and it's superior to the traditional PSA, the grade cards, and they slab them into plastic. Well, Glenn has done a scientific analysis of just archiving baseball cards. And he's come up with this fantastic, I mean, it is just such a beautiful thing, Glenn, you showed me that you put together yourself. And what was the year of the cards set that you had, 1911?
The set you saw was 1913 Fatima cigarettes. 1913 Fatima cigarettes. There are 16 cards, one for each team that was in the major leagues in 1913.
Wow, that's cool.
So listen how cool this is. It's 1913 Fatima cigarette cards. I mean, this is what, 110 years ago. I mean, and he has these cards in these little plastic cases that he made himself, and they look like just fabulous. He uses, instead of just having the plastic case with the card in it, which is exposed to the elements, even though it's in plastic, he has it set against this archival paper, which is there it is, which the pH is a certain strength, so that instead of contributing to the acidity and the breakdown of the card, it enhances it. I'm sure Glenn could explain it better, but is that unbelievable? And this is what Glenn did himself for these. And so anyway, it was just great. So I've been encouraging Glenn one day to share that at one of our chapter meetings, and maybe put together a couple of slides. That'd be really nice. A really nice.
If I'm not able to make a presentation by the next meeting, I can certainly bring some things for people to see.
That'd be great.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But
because
that's-
I would love to know more about how you made it too. And just more about what are the pH issues and all of that. It's fascinating. I think archival stuff is important, to save the pictures and now tickets and cards and everything else, the balls.
Yeah, the biggest problem is that cards and tickets and all of that ephemera is made out of paper or cardboard, which is made out of a product that produces acids over time. And when you seal them into a holder like PSA does, it locks those acids in so that they eat away at the product faster than if you have it open and let those gases escape.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. That's amazing.
The last year when I bought a 1952 rookie Mickey Mantle card for $1 million, are you saying that I should be worried about the little case that it's in?
Now you should worry about the $1 million.
Just as an example or a lesson, the first thing that the Baseball Hall of Fame does when they have a card contributed to their collection is they break it out of the PSA or
Ah,
Beckett case, that they remove them from the graded case holders immediately and put them in archival storage.
Yeah.
So how did
Glenn,
you set it up?
And how light sensitive is that process compared to the other process? Is there less station by light?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. It broke up pretty bad.
Is there is there less degradation by sunlight with this process?
Well, sunlight is part of the sunlight's an accelerator, so it speeds up the process, and that's why it's not a real good idea to put your prized collection out on a shelf and put it on display. It ought to be kept in a light, fast container. So all of my cards are in black boxes, and they come out just to look at them, but they don't go on permanent display.
Okay.
And that's why
Okay. Yeah, that's why I was.
that's why the Museum of Art that has Jefferson Burdick's collection, they don't put them on display other than to rotate a few cards out every once in a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they put them out for a short period of time and then they put them away. And those cards, they won't show again for another 20 years. They'll show different ones at different times.
So I was reading the other day with the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, they received their first baseball card in 1931. Somebody donated it to them. I think the name of the player was Miles, but I might be wrong. But then they went on to say that they have, thousands and thousands of thousands now, and they're all socked away in protective environments, just as you said. So they've learned.
They have over 50,000 cards now.
50?
50,000, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I feel like I hijacked this conversation here.
No, not at all.
oh no, we're fascinated.
Interesting, yeah.
No, this is research roundtable. We're going around the table. Hey, Doug, how you doing down there? Hey, Doug.
Doug, you're muted. Hit your mute button.
Anyway, hey, Doug. I think I missed adding you to the meeting. We're not going to do that next time we have a meeting. We're just going to eliminate that as a step. Have to be after the meeting. Either that or I'll make you host so you can admit yourself. Anyway. Well, we a month ahead for our next research committee meeting. It'll be in June, ideally. I know we have a board group meeting June 11th, which is on a Sunday. So 11th.
Well, we've often had the research meeting the night after the board meeting, so I don't think that's a problem. What's the local schedule
Checking
for
the
the
date.
team? June 12th would work because
Oh man, I was hoping it would be June 19th. because I was like, oh, third Wednesday. I ducked out of my bags league just after we finished up, and I know I think we have a bye on the 19th, so that would be like awesome that I would be able to make the whole meeting.
What day are you talking about?
June 19th.
Oh, so what
That's
day do we have? What day
third
did
Monday.
Stu say?
I think he
Well,
said
the
the 12th.
12th, but if you bigged out of something, I say go with it.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, insofar as I wouldn't have to beg out of anything that day. That would work better if it makes any difference.
So so anyway, what's the final decision on the next research meeting? June what? I'm not.
Why not June
I mean,
19th?
I'm voting the 19th. But if there's a
Yeah, I
vote.
don't even have a calendar in front of me at the moment. So
It's a Monday.
okay, June 19th, Monday. Is that what we're looking at? Was that what we're thinking about, John?
I would absolutely be there for the whole thing.
No,
at the
it's
usual
June
time.
19th. What are the Twins up to that night?
Oh, that's a good question.
They're
I don't know.
losing.
Or what?
They'll probably be losing that night.
What would be the easiest way
Oh, are they in New
to
York?
rude?
They're at home
No,
against
we're done with New
Boston.
York. Yeah.
They're at home against Boston.
Oh,
Do it on the 15th.
15th.
Or, I mean,
Thursday.
the 19th. Do it
Do
Juneteenth,
it on the
okay?
19th,
Do it.
Juneteenth.
Is anybody gonna be having to miss Juneteenth activities because of that?
Well, I'll actually be in Tulsa that day for Juneteenth.
Oh, good for you. There are activities.
Wow, that's intense.
Good
That would
for
be
you.
like the most Juneteenth thing to do. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's part of ballpark tours. Where this year that ballpark tours trip is going to Des Moines, Tulsa, Wichita, Kansas City. So
Oh wow. Okay.
we're going to be in Tulsa for Juneteenth, and then on the 20th we're going to see the Drillers play the Arkansas Naturals.
Nice.
If we do it on Juneteenth, can't we call it a DEI event?
There
Hey, there
you
you go.
go.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Write it up.
Yep.
Sweet.
So,
Is that for being like an MVP club or something like that?
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Cool.
be sure and maybe even have the research quiz have a theme of something like that.
Don't give away the theme.
You know, just
But yeah,
spitballing there.
definitely.
well, the quiz is open for next month. If somebody wants to think about it and let me know if they wanted to do the trivia time quiz for June. Open. You can think
Sure, I'll
about
do it again. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Considering
I
how
love
hard
it.
I pushed for this day, it's the least I could do.
So is that the
All
day after, is that the day after Father's Day, or is that a week before? Week
It's the
after
day
Father's Day?
after, but
Must be the day after.
so baseball.
And plus, I don't work that day at all. So at the very least, you know. I
Great.
suppose what you want that probably a few days in advance, so that's fine.
So John, you're gonna come up with a trivia time theme quiz for June?
Yeah, I can do
You
it.
do it? All right. John's doing it. Got it. All right. Well, we accomplished too much tonight, so I think I'm exhausted. So any last items, any last bits of items of encouragement or ideas that we could do next month? or talk about next month. If we get the results in of our surveys, I can, I can announce those. It may not be announced for, we'll stay on top of it. Okay. All righty. Okay, guys, well. Thanks a lot for attending the meeting.
Sure thing. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for hosting.
Thanks, Gene.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gene.
Thanks
See
for
y'all
your,
next time.
thanks for your encouragement and for our chapter activities. We'll continue to roll this year.
Word.
Absolutely.
See you, everybody.
See ya.
The breakfast.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't make,
Yeah.
couldn't make the breakfast the other day, but I was over here.
We used the new
for-
cans.
missed you.
Yeah, come on for the viewing party for the All-Star game and be ready to
Oh,
urinate
yeah.
because they have new cans there.
Yeah.
As long as
thank
they're,
you.
yeah, they're great.
They're
I
very
christened
nice.
them too. It was awesome. Loved
Oh
them.
yeah.
5 stars.
Thank you.
See
All
ya.
right, see you guys.
Yep.